One of the hallmarks of NXT, and maybe one of NXT's biggest influences on the wrestling world at large, women's wrestling. Women's
Yes,
wrestling was treated in a different way than we had seen before. Not to
and
bad talk anything
set
else.
out to be like that as well. We've talked about, from the very beginning, there's um,
It was purposeful,
Saraya,
is what you're saying.
Paige,
Totally purposeful.
yes, and the women will be presented just the same as the fellas. Yeah, and because and that was, we talked about Saraya and Emma, and then Charlotte and Becky and Sasha and Bailey,
It's a
and
long list, man. It's a
well,
long
it
list.
just keeps going, and it keeps going,
And it's
and
interesting you say
it's,
that, treating them like equals. We don't think
well,
about that.
there wasn't even it wasn't even a thing. When I said, there was no thought of, oh, we're going to treat anybody like, no, they are exactly, there's no having, this is, they're going to be just a equal part of the show, and proven point that became a point, many points, the biggest part of the show. And so it was like, no, it's just they are the talent, and they are athletes, and they are going to do their thing. And it's not like, oh, we've got to make women's
Right,
wrestling different. No, they were
right.
just, they're the same as everybody else, and if they're good, they're good, and they go out there and they have their time. And it
I,
was, and we
I
had
would
that.
honestly say that's the first time women's wrestling's been treated like that. I know TNA had a nice run with their women's division when Dutch was running it, but really, this women's wrestling era of NXT is a golden age of women's wrestling in a lot of ways, because this tag team match had Dana Brooke and Becky Lynch in a tag team against Alexa Bliss and her tag team partner. You talked about it a couple weeks ago about how you wanted to have what a someone might call a baby face, a good guy, woman wrestler, and this was her hometown, and there was no bigger applause and no bigger star than Bailey that night in that tag team
Mm.
match. What did as someone who kind of thought of the character, found the person, worked with her, as much as you did. What did you think about it when you saw this Bailey thing come to fruition, like in full bloom? Like, there's no doubt when you see Bailey at this show. Okay, this is somebody. This is a thing.
Well, so there's no, and I thought of that character. Then I met Pam, and hired her, and then she developed. This is what's in mind, and then between Pam and Dusty and whoever else, they made this character, right? So again, I'm in and out of there, and I'm off doing other things. So it was just they developed this character. I just, it was an idea that I had, and finally, when it all came together, I'm just really happy, because you've uh, my job was to try to, was to find talent, and couldn't have asked for anybody to better, or could have pulled it off better for the idea, and again, it was just an idea, than Bailey, and it became, that night was just magic to see her out there, and I'm just so happy, because I was got on with her, and it was just incredible that all those ladies, that everybody had the part. It was just, go out, do your thing, show the world what you're all about, and me just being really happy when they got back, that it's all worked out for them.
And all four of these ladies have taken different routes
Yeah,
uh, to success. Dana Brooke had some injury issues, had a huge athletic pedigree. Becky, I mean, geez, like Becky, and then Alexa,
yeah, she's the only
who
let down of the lot. She's
it's it's
she's
incredible.
she's never amounted to nothing, did she?
I know it's so disappointing what's happened to
Yeah,
Becky
yeah.
in this time.
That was one of my bad calls. I thought she'd actually make it, but no.
It's that European bias that you had. You just got her in there, you know.
Yeah, I
And
just that. Yeah,